All right. Hey, ladies and gents. It's been a little bit since an upload, so I've gotten a few things done with this thing, as in the engine is in the car. All right. So, it's obviously off of the stand, and we got some stuff plugged up here. All right. So, got the whole thing put back together, except for the intake. I had a temporary one where when we had it going up like that. It's over there. Let's see. That thing. So I still have to figure out something. I'm thinking of coming 45, coming down here, maybe putting the filter right there since there's so much space. So we got the alternator in. Got all the accessory brackets fixed up. Have the power steering here, so I'm still debating. There's the lines for power steering right there, but I'm still debating. Might hook that up. It'd be a little luxury. And then the AC bypass bracket, I got that on there. Went royal purple with the oil filter and oil. And we got our Ford Racing spark plug wires. The big thing was the fuel system. I got these rails in there, and I have the AN fittings and everything connects there. And there's some pictures on Instagram, a little bit, more detail here. But there's the pressure side, the return side, and then I got the fuel pressure regulator. All right, it's right here. Got the input right there, and then the returns coming out of the bottom. And I'll show you here in a second those lines. Have the mass airflow meter here. It's by BBK. Goes well with this. And everything is put back together. This is for the temp sensor. The what is it? ECT. That would go right there, but I have it blocked off. I have a new water temp sensor. I still have to hook up there, and then the tapped ACT sensor, air charge temp, and I have all that going through. And then the oil pressure sender. So this, or switch rather, one or the other. It was a little bit fatter than the stock one for the Explorer. Let's see if I can get in there. I had to do a 45 out just so I could fit it in there. And I have the wire ran here, up here, and up through there. And I hook it into my harness there. I still have to put all those fancy little covers. They're in there. And the TFI and everything, I had to cut a hole out of the bracket there because it wouldn't fit, because this thing didn't have a distributor, stock. This is just temporary. Don't mind this thing. I still have to figure out a deal here to come out of the thermostat and into here. Just to cross over here, I have my radiator. This is another thing that I did. The stock output was on this side. Let's say it was this way. It came out on the other side. So I had them switch it around to put my output over here so that I can get down to my water pump easier. And here's my fans. Got some electric fans I'm putting together with this. So this will all be good to go. The radiator looks like crap, but whatever. I had to get a filler cap, so I have to figure out a way to get that in there. I'm working with these hoses and stuff for the radiator, and I have them kind of sitting all over. The ignition module, I just mounted it right there. The ignition coil, rather, excuse me. All right, and some things over here. All right, I got a fuse box running here and a 100 amp circuit breaker for the battery, the alternator and all. I got all that hooked up. There's that pretty cool little circuit breaker. Pops in there, and then here's the little fuse box. I only have 3 things running to it now. It's for the start. I got it all running through the firewall there. So here's the lawnmower in the background. Let's see, next update. I did my gauge cluster. These are LEDs. I got, let's see, some red ones, green ones, and yellow. I'm sorry, red, blue, and green. I'm going to put them here, put some holes there, and do the turn signals. And then maybe up here, maybe put the bright like, you know, for my switches and stuff. But I got it all here. I got it connected to the stock deal and dremeled out everything in the back right there. So that turned out pretty good. Still have to stick it over in the dash, you know, over there. But that'll be all right. Fancy Dremel there. And then I ran into a problem. We went to go put the transmission in, and guess what? It's a 10 spline input shaft, whereas my clutch was in fact a 26 spline. So whenever you do that, make sure that you got the right one. So I debated. I was like, maybe I should put a 26 spline input shaft on the transmission, but I didn't. I decided I'm just going to change the clutch. So here's the clutch, 26 spline, the bell housing. It wasn't that fun to get to. See if I can get up here. This was not fun, but I got it off of there, the bell housing and everything, without having to pull the engine. So I'm happy about that. So I'm started hooked up, sitting on a can, and the pressure plate, everything's just going to go right back on there. Oh, right, the fuel system. So here's what I did. All right. So I got the fuel cell here, and I got my pressure side. I have it running through this pump. It's a Quantum pump from Amazon. Here's why I had to change that. And then the hosing and then the return. All right, so here's why I had to change that. I had an A1000 autometer that I got from eBay for $250. So I was like, I'm gonna get a sweet deal. And it started leaking out of that port right there. It's a mount port. I'm gonna send it back into Aeromotive, and if it just needs to be resealed, then it's not gonna be that bad. $35 I think, and then return shipping. So, oh, this is all getting cleaned up as soon as I'm done with this project, which will be never. So, okay, here we go. I have the fuel lines, the pressure running into the firewall there, and the return coming back into it here. And I have them meet up. And here's my fuel pump wire. I have it on my switch panel here. And I have it running through the bit of the chassis here. So I just protected it with these the little wire protectors. And just drilled some holes and have it running down through there. So that's how I have this. And right now it works temporarily. And we're going to get a good crank on this thing whenever we get everything hooked back up. I probably won't try to crank it until we get the clutch in and all that stuff. We get the transmission mounted. Because if you can see the engine's tilted back like 10 degrees that way. So whenever I put the transmission in, it's going to lift the back of it up, and it'll be where it should be. But anyways, that is the update. All the stuff that I've done. So I still have a lot to do, though, with electronics, like the headlights and everything else, taillights, brake lights, to make it legal. But it's coming along. And in the next video, we'll try to get that crank and see if we can get it running. Get the radiator on there, and then, yeah, should be able to do it. All right, see ya.